As I said, it's the 13th of January, so I've been working for 2 weeks now, making my first pots of the year, and I've been spending, what, 3 days now glazing. So it's time, just starting to fire some kilns. I fired a lot of fish in a kiln for the first one of this year's firings, and I'll show you that after I show you how I'm going to be glazing these other fish. So I've got a whole table here. Let me show you down here. A whole table full of glazing fun, basically. Pots of glazes with brushes in them, with sponges in different shapes, and some slip trailing bottles full of glazes. I'm using a variety of glazes, a couple of blues, a couple of greens, a brown, a variegated blue, a bronze, oatmeal. Yeah, that's about it, I guess. And I'm going to just sponge these pieces. Okay, so I first decide on what I'm going to do, and I don't know. I'm just going to play. So I've got a blue glaze in here. I always stir it up when I'm glazing like this, because glaze settles fairly fast. I've got a nice little sponge here. So the first thing I'm going to do with this one is just glaze by sponging carefully. I used to pour glaze when I did these. In fact, I have an earlier video where I was pouring the glaze, and now I just sponge it because it's easier for cleanup. And obviously with sponging, you're going to have some runs, but I don't think that really matters. And if it gets really kind of close in, I'll use a paintbrush. So if I don't want to get some splashed on it to another area, it's easy just to use a paintbrush. And with sponging, obviously it doesn't get as thick a coat, so I end up double sponging. I basically cover the entire fish with glaze, and then I'll be going in later on. I'll show you what I do next, but I'm just going to be doing this until I think I got a deep enough coat. And I'm going to go a little heavier in the middle there. I don't want to go so heavy that I lose the texture either. Because I spent a long time texturing these. So let's see, we've got blue, bronze goes really nice with blue. Let's get the bronze glaze here. A bit further away. So this one settles fast. And I think there's this clean. Yeah, that one's clean. And I always keep some water here, just to put some water into the sponge, because then it will pick up glaze a little easier. So dip it into the bronze. Make sure I don't. I like to be able to turn my little turntable. And I try not to really let it flow out of the sponge really fast, because my goal is to glaze this whole piece so I don't have to wipe glaze off the edges or the back. So if I just squish it down really heavy, it'll flow right out and possibly go on the underside of the fish. And when I used to do these, I used to spend a long time wiping the glaze off the edges and the back. And then I thought, well, sponging will take a long time. But in actual fact, it's less time. And that's a little bit more accurate too. In this glaze, if you get it on really thick, it goes a little bit more bronze. If it's on thinner, it'll be a little bit, well, it goes shinier the thicker you put it on, basically. This glaze is actually in one of those Cone 6 glaze books. Do I need any other areas like that? Yeah, I think I'll go with this fin too. Yeah, may as well do all the fins bronze. Just remember to tap lightly. And then the face, I think I'll do in a different colour, so I think the green would be good. So let's put this one away. And we'll go with the greens. These little black trays underneath are just coffee pot lids. Not pot, you know, the plastic container you buy the coffee in. And I think they're great for little trays to use as like a little paint palette. So I always save those. I've got lots of the jars, the actual containers. I don't throw those away either. And one day I was thinking I'll just organize all my chemicals into those containers. But I also don't like, as a tip for potters, I often get called because a pottery's going out of business. Somebody was doing it as a hobby and they're no longer doing it, or they passed away, or for some reason they're selling all the equipment. And when you go there, everything is like in buckets. When the original label's not there, and then there'll be a writing that's faded out, and you can't tell what it is. Well, it's just, you toss it at that point. It's so much hard work to know what it is, to test it and figure it out, that, you know, the only thing you can do is really throw it out. So in essence, keeping your stuff in original bags is really good, because you can always identify what it is. And I even write in a permanent marker on the bag too, just in case the label fades, what's in that bag. But anyway, that's the basic color for all this one. And after that, you can go in with other things that, like the green is here, but maybe we could have a little green using a paintbrush. Just, you know, but it won't go green, obviously, because this has got over the bronze, it'll do something else. And then this is variegated blue. So let's see, do I have one of these little? Yeah, I do. This is a little round sponge. These are just round. You buy them at the craft type shops, and I think they're for stenciling. I think that's what they originally sold for. And this is variegated blue, so I'm just going to dip it in there, and I'm going to lightly, it may have too much on there actually, but be careful. Press down lightly so it catches the highlights. And let's see, maybe I could do if I'm very careful, I could do the fin, a little of the variegated blue over the bronze all the way along there. And give it a little bit there, just to catch the highlight. And we'll do the same down here. And I think it often, this is my oatmeal, one of my oatmeals. Now these sponges can really flood out fast if you're not careful, so you've got to be careful. So let's just touch and go down just on the edge there. So if you can just press it very lightly, you'll be able to get just on the highlights and not on the actual edges. And then I'll just hit the fin all the way along just to get a highlight there too. And let's see, let's just do a light press there. And where the green was and the blue mixing a little bit there, I'm going to hit the oatmeal there. And then the mouth of the fish there, I'm going to hit with the oatmeal. It'll give it a little highlight. Maybe the eye too. What else can we have here? Oh, there's a bit of dark blue here. Oh, that one's settled out. Some glazes settle very fast. Let's give a little bit of dark blue on the eye. Anything else? I think that's good. So basically, I'm going to be doing this to all these pieces. I've got 12 of them to do, and I'll put it on stop motion so you can see what I'm doing, because I've just pretty much explained what I'm going to do with all of them. I finished the glazing. That was a long day. I did all the functional work. I got lots of functional work behind me. I've been glazing for 3 days. I usually set aside 3 days for glazing, at least, maybe a week sometimes. I wanted to show you this. You can get one of these probably right where you live. This is a table I found in a dump. The local hospital was throwing them out. It was in like a garbage container, one of those big industrial ones. It's great. I mean, they're throwing it out because it got dirty, I guess. And, but it has these little handles underneath, so you can put that down, and that saves space. And then on the other side, the same thing. And then you've got this neat glazing table for decorating. So just make contact with somebody at your local hospital and find out when they're updating their furniture, because I'm sure they throw these out after they get a little bit manky because of, you know, bacteria and stuff. So you just have to wash it down with Dettol and you know, disinfectants before you use it, I guess, just to be safe. But anyway, I wanted to unpack my kiln with fish now, so I'm going to show you that. This is the other shelf that I've been glazing for the last 3 days. So I have lots of glaze work ready to do some more firings. I packed this kiln today, and the one behind it is firing. I just packed that up and I'm just turning it on now. So that's going to go up overnight tonight. So that's what I say. I work for a couple of weeks and then I glaze for 3 to 5 days to get everything ready. But this was the first firing of this year. I'm pretty sure this was the one. Maybe I've done another one. It's 2 weeks into the new year already. I can't believe it. Anyway, these are those advancer shelves. And this is what I was doing today. So you saw it in the raw, and this is the actual glazed version. Here you go, you catch some light. I just turned the light shining on this area, so it should be a little easier to see. That's sage green. I call it apple green. But blue, and then I think I used Tenmoku gold on the edge with blues there. It says some Tenmoku gold on the face as well. All right, so yeah, this is good because you can see how there's some variation in that bronze glaze that I use, copper bronze, and that's maybe a little thinner on this side than it was over here. So it goes shinier the thicker it is, and that's got my matte turquoise with probably some blue dabbed over the fins, and Tenmoku gold on the lips. So if somebody wants some blue-green fish, they emailed me. So this is the fresh batch coming out of the kiln, which I won't be hanging on the wall. Oops, sorry, I won't be hanging on the wall till the spring. This is the apple green. You can see the texture that I rolled into the clay as well. Tenmoku gold on the fins, apple green in the center. Tenmoku gold in the body, apple green with some blues on the fins, and the bronze glaze on the face. See what else we got. Tenmoku gold with green on the fins, and with a little blue highlights on that green as well. It's a bit dark because it's the speckled clay. Actually, this is all recycled clay. So yeah, this was the recycled clay that I used in that pug mill video I just did. Here's one with bronze, recycled clay again, and the matte turquoise, mostly bronze and the matte turquoise with a blue face. Bronze, green, and dark blue on the fins. These glaze recipes are all posted in my videos. You'll just have to search through my history to get them. I keep posting them every so often, but it's a lot of work to kind of do that in every video. But that's bright blue with apple green and bronze face. Dark blue, variegated blue fins. Catching the light nicely, I hope. Okay, so more of the copper bronze and the apple green with blue. Bright blue with copper bronze and a little bit of Tenmoku gold on the edge there. Apple green with copper bronze and Tenmoku again, so these are all very similar. The textures are looking really nice. So I've been trying to resist over decorating with color because the texture shows up so nice on these ones. And remember, if you see something, just give me the timestamp and I can get you a quote on shipping it to you. I don't know how I'll price these yet. But the fish usually go from anything from about 50 all the way up to 150, depending on size. That's Canadian dollars. And here's nice textures on this one. 2 different textures and 2 different colors. Bright blue with variegated blue, and bright blue that has oatmeal over it. This doesn't. This is just 2 bright blues with oatmeal and variegated blue on this side. Tenmuku gold, the matte turquoise and apple green on there. Tenmuku gold in the middle with matte turquoise and apple green on the fins. Oh, here's one that's different. Mostly greens. Oh, I like them when they're mostly green, and with some matte turquoise in the center with a little bit of variegated blue or bright blue dabbed up to highlight where the textures come from. And the first big one, because there's quite a few big ones. Same as the other one. Bronze, copper bronze, Tenmuku gold, matte turquoise with some apple green edges there, but the copper bronze fins. So there's a pretty big one. I must have dotted with the little sponge things I showed you in the video earlier. I seem to like these round fish this time. Matte turquoise, copper bronze. I just closed up my showroom and there's a couple of raccoons outside. They're getting very wet today because we have potentially 100 millimeters of rain coming. With thunderstorms in January, how about that? This one's really nice. Really nice. Just blue, bright blue with the copper bronze, and the face is variegated blue. Nice fish. Nothing stuck to the kiln yet. My glazes are so predictable now. There you go. Tenmuku gold, apple green, and then the fins are the copper bronze. Nice texture in that one too. Oh, this is another nice one here. Once again, look at that texture. Bright blue. I must have mottled with some apple green over the texture too. There's no oatmeal in the center, but it's apple green here and here, but I bet I did some apple green in those areas too. And Tenmuku gold face. These are getting bigger now. Tenmuku gold fins, matte turquoise for the body, and then copper bronze for the face with some, I think I did some grey on that area there. And then the copper bronze for the fins and matte turquoise for the body. And I'm mottling something else in there. And this is all the recycled clay from that last pug mill video, which sold. And 5 people wanted it, but it just sold. Tenmuku gold with oatmeal in the body and apple green over the matte turquoise in the fins. And then that looks like, I'm not sure what that looks like. Some matte turquoise in there too anyway. Bright blue, apple green fins with the matte turquoise over the fins. bright blue with copper bronze fins. Maybe I overdid it. I've done this a lot of colors. This is a fairly simple one, but really nice. Copper bronze and bright blue, variegated blue fins with Tenmoku gold face. And this is a long one. Actually, yeah, it wouldn't have fit in my other kiln, but matte turquoise and blue and over apple green on the fins, and then Tenmoku gold in the body, variegated blue here. After the big one, now a little one. Apple green in the center, variegated blue fins, and bright blue maybe added to it, and a little bit of a face of the jade turquoise. Another very long one, like a pike. Tenmoku gold with oatmeal spotted on and fins of bronze and a variegated blue lips. Apple green body, matte turquoise fins, and Tenmoku gold, bright blue here with some oatmeal as well. What did I do in the center there? It's very dark and I'm not sure. It must be just dark blue with bright blue or variegated blue edges, and then copper bronze fins, apple green face. But the dark blue comes out almost black. The last level. Copper bronze with Tenmoku fins, apple green face and blue lips. Apple green with copper bronze fins and blue lips again. Oh no, it's copper bronze lips. So that's basically just two colors. Maybe a little mottling in there for because the green looks like it's got something slightly different, but look at the textures. Textures are really showing up nicely. Oh, that's very nice because the blue shows the texture really well. Bronze fins, dark blue center, apple green face. Well, here we have the sugar and creamers coming out of the kiln. I already took the creamers out actually, but maybe not all of them. But these are the sugar jars. I just put the lids on. I should have shown you that. But the lids are fired on top of the little stilts, which lift them up off the shelf so I don't have to have an unglazed area underneath. So which does mean I need to sand that a little bit, just rub it with emery paper. But those are the jars. Knock the stilts off, basically, just do that. But these are the ones with the little holes, so you can put a spoon coming out. I'll show you a picture with a spoon. I got some really cute little spoons to put on them. But the chattering, give you a look at the chattering. Very nice. Nice extra element on those. Those two, the ones I got from Bill Wright, which is artisanpotterytools.com. If you mention VS2, he gives you a discount, so I guess that's pretty good. And there's another showing the chattering, and that's with the matte turquoise. The other one was apple green. This is a glaze I don't use very often, but it worked great. Harris Tenmoku. I'm hoping the light's shining on these so you can see the texture. That's Harris Tenmoku, one I don't use very often, but it looks good. It has a real reddish, honey kind of red color if you can see it. There's a light shining over here, but I don't know if it's catching the piece. But it's a very nice glaze. I should use it more often. And I also have an Ohata glaze, which somebody just asked me for the recipe for, so I just sent it to them. And I don't use that very often, but I think I'm going to try that now, since the Harris is working so good in this firing schedule. Makes me think how many glazes I have, and what is the optimum firing schedule for most of them. I have no clue. And I have a test kiln, so I guess I have no excuse. But I'm going to have to start playing around with my firing cycles. I just changed the one in the last firing and increased the soak at 1750 to 3/4 of an hour. I usually do an hour for Randy's red, but it's a lot of extra power that you're consuming, so it's best to find the optimum. That's also the Harris. The blue, green, copper, red and the chun work really well. This is blue, green, copper, red. And the chattering is excellent on that glaze. And it has some of the yellow oatmeal over the edge. This is on order, actually. And this one, oops, is matte turquoise, and that shows up the chattering too. So this is a very nice little set of jars. And I've got a few fish in this firing too, so I may as well show you those. So here's another one of the fish. That's a really nice one too. Matte turquoise with Tenmoku gold, and which is Tenmoku gold. It looks really good too. And this is the next layer down where I've got some of the creamers. Okay, so this is the apple green, and I think I put the chun green maybe over the top of that one. I don't think there's any oatmeal in there, but and so with the fluting on it as well, so that's to match one of the sugar jars. And let's see what else. I tried something new here. This is an item I was just making to make a small utensil jar for the kitchen counter to put a few spoons in it. I haven't made them that size before, so that's a new item. With variety of glazes on it. It's just a small, because there's 2 or 3 utensils I use all the time when I'm cooking, so I don't need the whole big thing right next to the stove. Just a smaller one would be fine. Another apple green. That one turned out very sweet. Apple green with chun over the top, I think. Any other different ones here? Got a few mugs in here. This definitely looks nice. Somebody wanted a green coffee mug, so I made a few for her to pick from. Should be in Ireland to sell green, I guess. The land of green. Another one of the little utensil things. They're quite small, so just a few spoons. And then, those are, and also this. This is new. I tried the Harris Tenmoku, which turned out very nice. It's gone quite orangey red, which I like about it, and there's a little bit of breaking there where the spiral is in the bottom. So the edges, it kind of goes honey, and then where it's flatter, it seems to go a little bit matte, semi-matte, but that's very nice. And then if you dipped it, which I did, in variegated blue at the rim, and I may have even touched with oatmeal too on there, it breaks to a really gorgeous collection of colors there. And then where it overlaps the matte turquoise, it has that sort of shininess to it. There's always a surprise when you get 2 glazes meeting to see what they do. But I've got a set of these. I should have 4 of those. They're all very similar. Same again. The chattering is excellent on these pieces. And the rest of them are very similar in there, so I'll get you to the next level. Just a little shot there. Okay, bright blue, and what's over the edge? Tenmoku gold over the edge. He's a sweetie. Variegated blue and greens over the fins. See if I can get rid of the reflection there. It's good, I guess. Apple green and blues over the fins with Tenriku gold, I think, or a Harris on the face. And the texture's showing up great on these. Here's a nice small copper bronze one with the blue fins and a green face. My fish have been selling much better than the plant pots, so I'm making a lot of them this winter to actually have the front of the studio, many more of them out there. This is what I was trying to get down to, because I tried some new plates. There's a couple more fish there. I can just barely lift them up, they're still pretty warm. These were in the video I did for chattering, and I glazed them with folk art white, which I add a little bit of rutile to, sorry, the yellow ochre to, yellow iron oxide. But there's the chattering, if you can see it, and then the green interior. And this is recycled clay, so it has that deep, speckly, kind of toasty brown color to it. Same again here. I'll probably have to sand the bottoms of these. What I do is take sandpaper and rub them over the bottom to smooth them, because the speckled clay always has like a rough texture to it, because it's got grit in it. But there's the outer edge. That one you don't see the texture as much on the chattering. You see a little bit of it, just enough. And then another fish with a subtle texture there. Oh, this is a nice little one. I could see a set of half a dozen of those swimming across a bathroom wall. It would be very nice. Okay, here's some more of the plates. These had quite a bit of texture on them, and I used variegated blue on the rim, but it did fill in most of the texture, but it's a really nice plate. And I sponge stamped the glaze on the rim. I poured the glaze on the inside. Now here's one, the same glaze, and this time the texture did show up. So I just sponged a bit too heavy on the other one, I guess. It's hard when you're sponging glaze you have to get a feel for it. But I think that's a very nice plate. Still the recycled clay. This is Tenriku gold with variegated blue over the top, and it's basically a very nice plate, and there's a chance to see the texture there. Next layer down. I'm glad I did this to the plates. I'm very happy with these. Can you see any texture? Because they were all chattered on the rims. Depends on the glaze you use, but this glaze looks great. It's just that you lose a lot of the texture, but because of the way it breaks, you get a lot of textural surface to the glaze. And that's all Tenriku gold. This one is bright blue, which shows the texture up very nicely. Nice kind of textural edge there. Very nice plate. This one's the best for the texture. Bright blue again. Very nice texture. Bright blue and folk art white. But I modify my folk art white by adding the yellow stain to it. And we got a couple of these. I keep thinking Thomas the Tank Engine when I see these guys. Nice fish. I think Thomas the Tank Engine is still going on. I used to read those books when I was a kid. That's a nice fish. It'll be a nice collection outside the studio. 2 more rows to go. Another Tenmoku Gold. These are rich. That shows the textural quality of the, you can see from the reflections of the actual glaze, but it's hard to see the pattern through the darkness of the glaze. But very successful just because of the way the light glints over the edge. And there's another variegated blue one. Yep, the back looks, I'm just going to sand all the backs of these. It doesn't take more than a minute or less for each one. I put them on the wheel and just use sandpaper and let it spin. There you go. Just on the old Giffing grip. Wear a mask when you're doing it though, and I have an air filter right next to the wheel. Nice fish again. 1 more level to go. Okay, last level. Tenmoku Gold. Lots of gold in that one too. Chun Green shows the texture up, sorry, the chattering very well. There's no reflection, and then you get the reflection. Because it's speckled clay, you don't get quite the contrast in it, because it's and this is the, this is my matte turquoise. There's something below, and I need to sand off just there. I think it's stuck from the kiln shelf actually. But there you go. So that's that firing. Ooh. I've done so many kiln unloadings here because I work in cycles. You know, I have 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks making work. I usually do about 4 bisque firings to fill up all the shelves in here, and then I spend a week glazing where I don't throw anything, and then it takes me another week firing a kiln just about every night to actually glaze everything, get everything glaze fired. I've still got 1 to unpack here, and I've got 1 more over there, and that's it. I've started packing a bisque firing already, and that's actually the work going to Geneva in Switzerland. Have a great time this winter. It's been mild for us, but I see how horrific it is everywhere else. So just stay safe. All right, bye.